Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name is David, and this is a Magic Review. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today, we are gonna finally review sticks from Eric Stevens and Alakazam. Why do I say finally? I say finally because I've had this for about 3 weeks, and sometimes I get tricks and I get so distracted by playing with them that it doesn't immediately go into my rotation to review it. I usually work about 2 weeks ahead too, by the way. So if you send me something to review, I'm not gonna get to it for 2 weeks at least, because that's just, I like to work ahead. I like to work ahead. But I've been loving this. I've been playing with it. It's been such a fun reintroduction to the classic hot rod. And can I just say, I know we usually put positives at the end. Can I just say a positive here up front? Let's just do a pre-positive, okay? A pre-positive. Finally, you can get rid of the pick a number between 1 and 6 force. Oh my goodness. That is the reason that I do not do the classic hot rod anymore. I mean, maybe I'll do it for kids, but I do not do the classic hot rod anymore because of that. I hate the classic force of pick a number between 1 and 6. And oh, by the way, if you pick the number 1, or you pick the number 2, or you pick the number 6, which is half the numbers, we're gonna spell to the color. Because anybody would be able to think then, wait, 1, 2, and 6 all have the same amount of letters. And then, yeah, it's such a terrible force. It really is. And I have spent so much of my brain power trying to come up with a better way to do it. Eric has finally designed we'll call them sticks now, okay? A color rod that completely gets rid of that stupid force. Can I say stupid on this channel? Stupid force. And now these rods have story, they have meaning, they look like something that maybe is a little bit more grown up, a little bit more mature. We'll talk about that. And 3.5 hours of content. 3.5 hours of content. So maybe you know what the hot rod is, maybe you don't, but basically it's a plastic stick that has a variety of colors. The spectator chooses a color, and then instead of the colors with a wave, now they see just the color they picked, front and back. You wanna see what you get? Here at Magic Orthodoxy, I'm always gonna show you everything close up. This is not a channel where you look at my talking face for 20 minutes. You're gonna buy these products, you're gonna spend $45 at Alakazam. You wanna see what your money gets you. So you're gonna get a cardboard folder sleeve that looks just like this, and on the inside are your gimmicks. First thing you're gonna get is 2 sticks that are completely identical. And these are the sticks that you would use for the main routine. And we understand what we mean when we say they're completely identical, correct? I'm not gonna reveal it for you. And then you can see that color scheme I was talking about earlier. You're also gonna get another stick that is completely examinable. And this is something that could be handed out to your audience. Your 4th stick is a completely transparent stick. So you can see all the way through it. And this is reminiscent of the Omni deck, where you had a deck of cards and it becomes invisible. Now you can take your color stick and make it invisible. And then your 5th stick is a little mini stick of the color force. And you can use this to shrink your stick or make it appear as though part of it has disappeared. All right, so a couple questions we always ask, and the first is it what I thought? Absolutely, it's what I thought. Because at the end of the day, this is still the classic hot rod effect. It is. It's still a hot rod, and when you receive it, if you know how to do hot rod, you'll be able to do the hot rod effect right away. I would recommend watching Eric's forcing method, but beyond that, I mean, you could start doing some classic tricks that you already know immediately. However, there is a bunch of new content, and like I said, a brand new way to force the color. Are they well made? They're beautiful. And the other thing I really love about them is I've had other hot rods in the past that people have released, and I don't feel like they take the time to test them in their hands to see if they work. There is a special move to make the change happen, and just making a flat plastic rectangle doesn't always work. I've got bad hot rods in the past where I won't do it because I just can't make the move happen. They didn't sit there in the R&D space. You know, they didn't take that time in research and development to say, does this feel good in the hands? Is this going to roll quickly? The couple of color changes that I already know how to do, I could do them immediately with this, and I could feel the Cadillac of excellence. I could feel the Ferrari level that these had over other cheap ones in the past. So I love how these are made. All right, so how's the video? Let's get into it. So like I said, 3.5 hours long. It's filmed at the Alakazam studio. It's Eric Stevens, and 3 hours of content, like I said. So how do you get 3 hours of content for just the hot rod? Well, you invite Craig Petty into the tutorial. So the two of them sit side by side pretty much the entire time. And it's really fun to watch those two voices go back and forth, and I certainly think it adds to the content that's provided. As far as what they teach you, there are a lot of performances, which is great. So if you like performances, you're going to get them both from Eric and Craig. Craig's got a lot of live performances. Eric does a lot of studio ones. They're going to cover all the basic moves that you need to know. And then there's a big, huge section on sleeving, which means, yes, you're vanishing, right, using clothing restrictions. And he's going to spend a lot of time here. So in effect, in the middle of this, there's a little sleeving masterclass. So this could be something that you want to watch. And if you're into sleeving and you want to consider it, then I would definitely watch it. But you don't have to, right? There's a good portion that you don't have to watch if sleeving isn't your thing. Then they're going to cover a bunch of stand-up routines. There's a slow motion vanish. They're going to cover the little mini stick. They're going to teach you an in the hands change. That's in the spectator's hands. And then for the last hour, Craig jumps in with all of his content. And then there's one submission at the end from Seth Kramer. So pocket space, you pick, right? You can carry as much or as little of those sticks as you want to. You know, if you want to just use it as a standard hot rod, you could. You could just carry the one stick and you're good to go. As far as inspectability goes, like I said, there's one that you could hand out to show that it's, you know, examinable on both sides. You could also do the classic inspectable where you say, let me just tap it on the end, and then it's this on this side and this on this side. There's that too as the default if you want to go back to that. But I think if you've done hot rod in the past, you already understand the levels of whether it's inspectable or whether it has angles or, you know, it's pocket space. We've all had a hot rod. We all get it. You know, none of that has changed. So as far as slides and difficulty level go, though, if you've ever seen me do the hot rod or the guy behind the counter at your local magic shop, you know, hot rod looks like it does. But then if you've ever seen Eric Stevens use the hot rod, then it just goes up a whole other level, doesn't it? I mean, talk about a guy who's devoted his life to something that many of us have thrown in the drawer. And the beauty and the skill and the excellence that he applies to this is unmatched. There's nobody better at this particular style of magic, this one gimmick than Eric. So he knows what he's talking about. So if you're going to get 3.5 hours of content from Eric, this is it. And of course, a lot of the moves, vanishes, and things like that could be applied to your standard hot rod as well, right? Of course. So there is a lot of carryover here. But as far as difficulty level, there's the full range of skill. So don't think that you have to be as good as Eric to pull some of these off. A lot of these effects are really in the beginner to intermediate range, so you're fine. Positives. What are the positives? Well, aside from everything I've just said, I think this is a giant leap forward in the hot rod genre. This feels like you've taken a traditional effect and now it's all grown up. Now it's black suit and tie, right? Now I think this is the kind of routine that you could do professionally, which means you could take this as corporate walk around. I mean, I have seen corporate walk around magicians do Omni deck. Okay, so if you can do Omni deck at a corporate walk around, now you can do Omni stick, right? You could. You could do this table hopping at a restaurant. I think this really does raise the bar. And if you've left hot rod in the past, I think now is the time to return to it. The other great thing about the video teaching is if 3.5 hours scares you, don't worry, there are timestamps so you can easily navigate to the tricks that you want to learn. Negatives, there's two basic negatives. Number one, there's only one force color. So in the past, if you bought a hot rod, sometimes you could order 2 or 3, and in the mail you'd get multiple colors. So then you could, show it at one setting and the spectator picks blue. You could show it in another setting and the spectator picks yellow. Okay. With this, there's only one force color. So even though you get 3.5 hours of content, you're only going to do this trick once for the same audience. You are not going to do it again. So you are not going to do a lot of these tricks. You're going to do one. Okay. You're going to do one. The second thing that I have a negative with is about the box. The box is beautiful and it's really well done graphically. And inside this, there's little foam pockets where each one of the sticks will reside. And they made this super tight so that the sticks would not pop out during shipping. And that was a great idea. But they are really hard to remove, very hard to remove. Here's my advice to you. You spent $45 on these sticks and the box is not important, okay? You didn't pay for a box, you paid for sticks. So destroy the box and gently remove the sticks. Do not use anything sharp or metal to remove these sticks. Applying pressure under one end while there's no pressure under the other end could snap them. So what I did was I used my finger and I went to the edge, and you can see what I did right here. And I just pushed down as much as possible, thus lowering the foam padding around the stick. And then once I saw the edge of the stick lift up, I just used the tip of my fingernail and just flicked it up like this. And then I was able to grab each one and pull it out. So don't try to save your packaging. Go ahead, look at that. I thrashed it all up. Thrash it up because the sticks are the most important. And is it worth your money? It's only $45. $45 and you get 5 gimmicks, right? 5 gimmicks for $45 and 3 hours of content, tons of stuff. You're going to learn all of Eric Stevens' master moves, plus all of Craig Petty's submissions. You definitely want to head on down to alakazam.co.uk to purchase yours. Big, huge thanks to Eric and Alakazam and everybody down there. And don't forget, if you are in the US of A, right, they now have a US of A warehouse that is manned 6 days a week. You will get your stuff shipped so much faster. So do not hesitate to purchase from Alakazam. If you are here in the States with me, they will still get it to you quickly. All right? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.